What's up, guys? Ivan Carranza here, and welcome to Bass Tone Tuesday. As some of you might know, I've been on tour this winter with the band Dr. Crapula from Colombia, and we have 2 more dates to go in Denmark. We're playing in Copenhagen this Friday, the 24th, and in Odense on Saturday, the 25th. But I wanted to share with you 10 things that I learned while being on tour, or not necessarily learned, but also got confirmed something that I believed in and thought of as important. So these are some things that I learned across this entire month. I've played 25 shows non-stop, only resting 1 day a week. So we were playing from Monday to Saturday, traveling on Sunday and starting again on Monday. Because so far I've only played, either for 1 weekend and then the next weekend again, starting on Thursday, for example, or, spread out throughout the week. But I had never played an entire tour run of more than 25 shows. So it's been a completely new experience for me, and I've learned a couple of things. So I want to share that with you. You have to prepare musically and physically, because being on the road for so long is physically demanding. And I'm happy that I followed the advice of Epica's bass player Rob Vanderloo about playing the set list at least 3 times while you're preparing for a tour, in order to be really fit while you're on stage and not worrying about your stamina. Because even though what I'm playing with them, with Dr. Crapula, is not really technically demanding, still we're moving around, we're dancing, we're jumping, and you have to perform for the audience. You're not just standing there and playing everything, You have to move around, you have to interact with the audience, with the musicians on stage, you're moving around and things like that. And if you're getting tired due to your stamina, then you're not going to be able to do it across the entire tour. Whenever possible, I will do 3 times a day the entire set list. That's like 6 hours of music. So if I can do that, I'm sure that I can play the set list once a night, including all the movement, jumping, and so on that's including on the show. So that's the physical part. And of course, the musical part is that you have to know the material. And you should know the material if you're going out on tour. So that's actually kind of like a given, right? Thing number 2 that I learned is that you have to protect your gear. And by that, I mean, if possible, get everything in hard cases or flight cases. Because, you're loading in, loading out of venues. Sometimes the staff of the venue comes to help, and these people don't know what's inside of your cases. So they might throw things around a little bit. Even when people are trying to be careful, when you're unpacking, unloading, and also loading the van, you cannot really babysit all your precious gear. So if possible, get everything in cases or flight cases or Peli cases, for example. I don't know how many times I've seen my Peli case with my Noble and my Quad Cortex roll down the van, from the car. I've also seen it roll down a flight of stairs, falling out, getting things falling over it, and so on. So having something to protect your gear is very, very valuable and worth the investment, believe me. Also, speaking about gear, point number 3 is that you have to know the gear that you're taking on tour. In case something goes wrong, something happens, gets damaged, unprogrammed, or you have to adjust things on the fly, you gotta know how your gear works to be able to adjust it. For example, there were 2 shows where my Quad Cortex started doing kind of weird things. I was getting like a weird signal input, and I was like getting input without having anything plugged in, so I couldn't really use it. Luckily that got fixed before the sound check, but still, if that wouldn't have gotten fixed, I could have used, for example, my backup, which is my Noble DI, to go to front of house, or use the DI of the amp from the backline. So I had 2 backup solutions there. Also, knowing your gear, how to adjust things on the fly. If you're talking to a sound engineer and they tell you, hey, this is sounding so and so, can you please maybe change something, to be able to adjust without taking forever, because soundcheck time is limited. And that's an example. Or knowing how to properly sync up your in-ear monitor packs, knowing how to EQ or mix your own mixes, because we're running in-ears, so that you can do it quickly and not waste time for anybody else. So knowing your gear is very important. So if you're taking something on the road, please take the time and learn to operate it, because it's gonna save everyone else's time at the end of the day as well. And like I mentioned, point number 4 is to have a backup plan. Have a backup DI, have backup pair of strings, have a backup strap, for example. A bass could be, I use a passive bass, so that something happens with the electronic section of the bass is very rare. I mean, you probably would have to get the neck broken or something like that to really need a spare bass. If you're running multiple tunings, maybe. I went with one bass for this tour and nothing happened. If we had the space, I probably would have taken 2 just to be safe, but having a backup plan is always a good idea. And for example, if one string breaks in the middle of a show and you don't have time to change the strings, or you don't have backup strings for some reason, know how to transpose the song so you can play them. Of course, that doesn't always apply, because some songs require that you use certain strings, but know how to transpose the material in case you need to, adjust on the fly, and have a backup plan. Number 5 is, if you're working with a different sound and light engineer from show to show, is to give them a set list, a copy of the set list, so that they have a reference, and mark down, for example, there's a guitar solo in here, there's trading solos, in this song we engage the audience and we do things like this and that, so that they know what's going to happen in the show, because it's the first time that they see your show and they have to react very quickly. So if you give them a plan, they can already prepare and make some adjustments ahead of time. Number 6 is to stay healthy as much as you can, because like I said in the beginning, it's very physically demanding if you don't believe it. Usually we would arrive at like 4 p.m. to the venue, then unload and set everything up on stage, and it would be like 5:30. We wouldn't sound check until 7 p.m., maybe 7:30, depending on the venue. And then we usually had an hour to eat and decompress a little bit before playing, then play, and then, talk to the audience a little bit, disassemble everything, pack everything in the car, go to the hotel, and we would arrive there at like 2 a.m. in the morning, then try to sleep as much as you can, and then drive to the next city and repeat the whole thing over again. So it is physically demanding, and do everything you can to stay healthy, meaning eating healthy foods. There's different diets, different drinks that people consume, smoking. Try to reduce everything, because you have to perform night after night. So keep that in mind. Point number 7 is to get as much sleep as possible. You're pretty much going to be sleep deprived all the time because of the times that you're working and traveling and, staying up late, coming back, waking up early to catch breakfast and then leaving to the next city. So getting as much sleep as possible is very important. If you can, try to sleep in the car. And if you can, also try to sleep a bit in the venue after sound check, for example. What has helped me is to get a sleeping mask and also use CBD drops to sleep, because usually after a show I'm still full of adrenaline and I cannot sleep. So taking a bit of CBD oil has helped me, because I don't smoke weed. So that can help, and it has definitely helped me to at least regulate a little bit my whole system. Number 8, which is very important, is to be a good hang, meaning you are gonna spend an enormous amount of time with the same people on a very tight space in a car, traveling, also doing sound check, then eating, then going to, playing on stage, going to a hotel together, and so on. So you're gonna spend a lot of time with the same people. So if you're not a good hang and you cannot hang with the people and have a positive attitude, chances are that something is gonna blow out of proportions because somebody's gonna say something, somebody's gonna react to something. So be a good hang, because otherwise you're not gonna have a good time. The other people are not gonna have a good time either. So it's not gonna be a fun tour. Number 9 is to create media as much as you can if you're playing a lot. I took my new GoPro with me. You've probably seen some of the videos. I put it on my bass, I put it on stage, I mounted it on the drum kit, I let the singer take it and film the audience. And from this, we created videos and after movies of every show so that we can promote the upcoming shows and have material ready for the entire tour. So having something to make videos, it can even be just your phone. But to me, the advantage of a GoPro is that you can really take it on stage and put it in places. It records high quality video and pretty decent audio actually when you take it on stage. Is that, you see the action really close and you don't have to worry about holding the camera because you can just mount it somewhere with a clamp or one of those Gorilla Pod things, So have a media plan to promote your music because you want people to come to your shows. Unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on how you look at it, you as a musician, as a band, you are not only a musician nowadays, you are a media company. So you have to be able to produce media, create videos, share it. So learning a little bit of video editing and having something to record videos is very helpful and goes a long way. And connecting to that, point number 10 and my final point is to learn a little bit of online/digital marketing. I helped the band with that, for example, running a small campaign to promote the shows in different cities. And we got a bunch of ticket sales from that. So knowing how to run, for example, Facebook ads is very valuable. And we could definitely see the result in this tour because we get comments and messages from people saying, hey, we saw your ad and we're coming to a show tonight, and so on and so on. So those are the things that I learned, or at least 10 of the things that I learned and that I became more aware of during this tour. I'm a bit sick at the moment still. So I'm gonna go rest because I still have to play those 2 shows and I wanna be healthy for those. So I thank you guys for watching the video. Let me know what you think in the comments. And also don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell to stay up to date with the content that's coming to the channel. As always, thank you guys for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Take care.